Hi, I'm Ryan, and I'm going to show you how to install some highway bars on a Halcyon 450. What you'll get in your kit is your highway bars, your left and right. You'll have a spacer, an 11/32 drill bit, an 85mm bolt, and 3 75mm, and your washers and nuts. The first thing we're going to have to do is remove the horn. There's a bracket that gets right in the way of it. And then we're going to actually relocate that just above the oil cooler here. So we'll have a 10mm socket. You want to pop that off, disconnect the wiring, and just set that off to the side for now. Next thing we're going to do is remove the nuts and bolts off of the forward motor mount bracket here. Take 13mm socket, and you'll want to wrench on the opposing side. One. There we go. All right, so the next thing we're going to want to do is differentiate the left and right highway bar. One way you can tell, this upper bracket here, there's a section that's a lot longer than the rear mounting location. The longer portion is going to face forward on the motorcycle. I'm going to slip the 75mm bolt through the upper hole. As you can see, the bottom one has a slot. Slide that through. I have to smack it in just a little bit. Now that can rest in place. I'm going to go ahead and swing it to the other side and install the left handle for a highway bar. All right, so with the left one, you see that slot in the lower mounting location. We'll just go ahead and slip our other 75mm in there. Insert it through the lower, and then we'll match up with that upper bolt. That can rest as well if needed. We're going to need to punch that lower bolt in just a little further. So if you have a punch or a socket extension, something to kind of get to it. Just smack that on the rest of the way. There we go. And then from here we can put the nut and washers on either bolt, just to make sure they don't slip off again. We're going to take the longer bolt, the 85mm, and you'll get a spacer. That is going to slide into the most rear mount on the highway bar. Line it up with the left side. There you go. So now, if we fasten those 3 bolts, the most forward mount up here, this is where the drill bit comes in play. We're going to want to pop holes through the right hand side of this gusset as well as the left hand side. We'll want to do each side individually. So let's go ahead and fasten the hardware. All right, for this lower bolt here, unfortunately there's a bar in the way, so we can't use a socket, but we can at least get a wrench on there. So just take your time. You'll need a wrench for the other side just to stop the bolt from spinning. If not, you could even use a 13mm swivel head that could miss this lower bar here. And this is that little swivel head I was telling you about that could avoid the bar. There we go. All right, so for this upper bolt, you'll see that the head's a little too close to the bar, so we can't get a closed end on it. So you're just gonna have to use an open end and spin it that way. Now that we have the 3 bolts locked in, this most forward one is gonna be located for us to drill now. We'll take that 11/32 drill bit, and one side at a time. There's one. Do the same to the left side of the gusset there. You'll want to watch out for the wires just to make sure they don't get chafed. All right, got the other one. We'll take our last 75mm bolt. Go ahead and slide that all the way through. Nut and washer on the back side. The last step here, since we had to remove that horn in order to get our highway bar in, we're going to need to relocate that to the front. So we're going to remove this oil cooler bolt, slip that in there and retighten it. There's 2 holes on your horn. Just go ahead and use the outermost hole. The bolt that I removed was a 20mm. Unfortunately, it's just a hair too short once we place the horn in place here, so I increased it to a 25mm here. You can go ahead and pivot it, just make sure it's in a spot where you like it. We're gonna have to rotate the horn just because the terminals were pointing straight up. We want those terminals to point a little bit more right in your direction, and then we're gonna have to tighten up the nut on the back side here. All right, this nut on the back of the horn is an 8mm. Go ahead and snug that up. And your 2 terminals are non-biased, so they can go in either terminal. All right, there we go. That's how you install highway bars on a Halcyon 450.